Hello everybody and welcome to Hampshire Outdoors and Survival. Mickey here. So in this video what am I doing? Well, I'm playing with that fibre that I picked up, the fibre rope, and I'm having a toy with it. I'm having a bit of a play with it. You see me use it on the video the other day, and all I did was I used a small piece like that that was fluffed up. And I literally lit it with a spark, let the fibre rope burn, and it does work very, very well. So if I just quick demo for you here, this is just the bare fibre rope. So what I'm going to do, let's do a piece of bare fibre rope, let's have a look at it, gauge its effectiveness, and then I'm going to have a play with treating it. So the bare fibre rope will ignite very quickly, very easily off a single spark. Okay, so it does burn quite easily, does ignite fast, but as you see, one of the issues is it's not a fierce flame, it's quite a small flame. So I noted that when I was using it, and I thought, well, how can we improve on that? Because it does burn well, it lights fast, but it's just not particularly vigorous, I think is the term to use. But it's a slow burn. It's very, very, very effective. It's just not quite what we want. We want something a little bit more vigorous, a little bit more energy to it for our firelighting. On a dry day, absolutely brilliant, because it is quite a slow burn, but let's make it a little bit more vigorous. So my first school, or my first chain of thought, was obviously go with the obvious, treat it with a bit of Vaseline. Okay, now the thing was, or what I found with the Vaseline and treating it with the Vaseline, and I'll demonstrate, it does light quite easily, and it gives a lot better flame, because obviously you've got the petroleum jelly in there, and that's acting as a wicking agent. So as that gets hot, it burns hot, it burns very, very well. In fact, very, very well, as you can see from there. And again, that slow light quite a lot, and gives a lot larger and a lot more heat, a lot better flame. So that's superb. There's a downside with that though, especially when I'm up the woods, and I find it with cotton wool balls. If you get the Vaseline on your fingers, especially up the woods, places like that, it tends to be a bit of a mess. Sticks to everything. It really, you then put your hand down, there's a bit of leaf mold stuck to your finger, and there's other things stick to your fingers, and it smears and it marks, and then you do that, and then you just marked up a shirt. You got to take it home to your wife and go, gonna have to give that a really good hot wash because I've got Vaseline in it. So there is a drawback to Vaseline, although again, Vaseline balls, cotton balls with Vaseline, this rope with Vaseline, it really does work very, very, very well as a fire lighting aid, and would be a good system in emergency. The next school of thought was, right, okay, so Vaseline works, what about wax? Okay, what we're actually doing with the Vaseline and the rope is we're creating a candling effect. So the petroleum spirit, it gets hot, it becomes liquid, it gives off vapor, that vapor burns, you end up with a larger, yellower flame, as you see there, and that works really well for fire lighting. So I'm going to have a go at treating these with wax. I'm going to use the same methodology I use when I'm making candles. Okay, however, what I decided to do was push it a step further. So what I've done, I've taken, I had a load of the 8-hour tea light candles. Let me just move my cup of tea before I spill it. 8-hour tea light candles in here, and they'd already been partly used, so I had used them for another experiment. So what I've done, I've trimmed them down, I've cut the wicks out, so there's no wicks in there. So that's 8-hour wax, so that should be quite a slow burn. That might give us even more of a slow burn. And I've also taken some beeswax, okay, and this beeswax I'm also going to do. Now the problem is, for experimentation, once I've treated the rope with those, how do I know which is which? So when I'm candle making, which I like to do in the winter, I dye my candles. So I've got some candle wax dye, and I've got some scents. Okay, so again, if I'm trying it, why not have something pleasant? Why not have something that smells nice? So I'm going to do one with an orange and cinnamon, the other one with a green tea and mint. I'm probably going to dye one of these green, and the other one I'll just leave its natural colour, and that hopefully will show up on the rope, and that means that when I've packed them away at a later date and I'm playing with them, I'll have an idea of which is which. And we can see this rope is still burning. It is working nicely. It is quite a strong flame, okay, for fire lighting up the woods. That is going to be a real bonus and a help. But again, as I've just found, picked it up, it tries to stick to your finger. Vaseline, brilliant, yeah, absolutely fantastic. I could make Vaseline and all the rest of it with it, which is an experiment for another day, but today we are just starting with the basics. What I'm going to do now, I'm going to put that out, so we'll snuff that, move that to one side. Now I'm playing with fire today, so let's be honest about this. I've got a fire extinguisher to hand. I've got 2 fireproof mats there. I've got the window open. I've got plenty of airflow. I've got the burns kit to hand. Okay, I've even got a bucket of water just outside the door. So I've covered all eventualities if I have an accident. So again, if you're doing this, do it in a safe environment. Think about it beforehand, especially with waxes. Waxes come to a flashover point very easily, and when they do flash over, can become very vigorous in their burn. Okay, so what you'll notice here, I'm using a chafing gel, which is quite a gentle heat, and I've got quite a high rack there, and it is located over this mat. I've also got myself out a tool so I can move the trays, and the other thing I've done, I've made sure that the amount of wax I've got, when it melts in the trays, it's going to below the tray level. Even if it boils and bubbles, it shouldn't cause me any issues. Right, let's get on with it. So first thing we'll do, we'll open up a chafing gel. We'll position everything carefully. We'll make sure I'm not going to knock anything over. There's going to be no issues there. Let's light up the chafing gel. That's the chafing gel lit. Lovely. And the first wax I'm probably going to start with is going to be the slower one to process. So that's going to probably be the beeswax. So we'll stick the beeswax on there. We'll let the heat start rising down. Now what you want to do is watch this carefully. You can burn wax, which you don't want to do. So basically I keep an eye on it, and once I see the wax is starting to melt nicely, I can sit back and take it easy. But the thing I don't want to do is get the wax till it's frying. I want a gentle heat. Quite often you'll do this sort of thing in a bain-marie, but because I'm in here, right, that one can move over. There's enough heat starting to melt that wax. We'll stick the paraffin on as well. Move that to one side, chafing gel. There's a little bit of smoke coming off, as you can see, and that's coming off the tins themselves, not off the wax. Okie doke, so here we are. We've got the waxes now melted. So I've got my 2 little trays of wax there. I've got to be a bit careful now. So one of the things I wanted to do, as I said before, is be able to identify which wax was which when I've got them on the rope, because obviously the rope is just going to darken up. So I've got some dye here. This is candle dye. You can buy this on Amazon if you want to have a go at making your own candles. And basically a little bit goes a long way. So that's an emerald green. So I'm going to dye the wax in that one emerald green. So in theory he says the ones that are green are going to be right. So that is my waxes sorted. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to do these 2 or 3 different ways. So I'm going to do some that I've not fluffed, which are going to get just a quick dip on some wax-proof paper. Some that I've fluffed. And as you see, it's just getting a quick dip on those. And I can see the difference, which is a bonus. Right, fluffy ones, which I'll leave the fluff out and just dip the base. So this is the knack, is experiment with your kit. Actually, you know, have a go with it. So that's 2 with the fluff out. So the fluff isn't coated with wax. I've got plenty more. So let's go with a really good long soak on those 2. So that really gets the wax right into all the fibres. We'll leave them in there for a minute or 2. What we got left? Got another one. We'll just go with a dip on that one. And we just go with a dip on that one. Got 2 more left. Yeah. These ones we'll do exactly the same, but we'll leave a longer dip so that the liquid wax gets right into the fibres. The ones that have had a really long soak, a good long soak, they can come out. And they can come out. So that's that. That's the experiment. That's where we're going to go. And I'm going to let those cool right down, and then we will come back to them and give it a try, see how they've managed. Laid them out in a manner that means I can tell what's what. So the first thing you want to know is, can I light out one of these straight off of a ferrocerium rod? So we'll take a small piece like that is clean cut, i.e. the ends have not been frayed, and the first test I'm going to do is, can I light one of those, can I light that with a ferrocerium rod with its unfrayed ends? So it's just a cut piece, 1 inch of small rope. really. So the next knack is going to be just a gentle fluffing. So a gentle fluffing with my thumb. No, not effectively. So let's go with something a bit more vigorous. So we know now it needs to be fluffed. If it's got no wax on it to start it, we know, yeah, you're going to need to fluff it out. So alright, but again the issue is it's not the most spectacular flame. It's not particularly powerful. It will burn, but it's not the greatest flame in the world, is it? So we'll put that one over there. We'll let that smoulder, or we'll let that, we'll put that in there. We'll let that just carry on doing its thing. So the next thing to try is going to be a bit that's fluffed up, and well fluffed up like that, with some wax. Now this is the paraffin. Right. So that's that lit. The stopwatch is on. Fluff's doing its thing. The wax is starting to burn. And this is the one just had a quick dip. I didn't put it in for long, so it'll be interesting to see how long that lasts for. And already we can tell that that's burning a lot more efficiently than this. Okay, it's working very, very well. Obviously, if you're putting it into a fire, what I tend to do is I tend to put it up that way anyhow, so that the flames burn up it. So for fire lighting, you'd put it in a vertical manner, and these natural fibres will burn brilliantly. And that's a long burn paraffin wax, so that's off of 8-hour tea candles. So the thing I wanted to know there was, you know, is that going to make a significant difference to the beeswax? Let this burn out entirely. Called that there. Right, call that 6 minutes of. We'll call that 6 minutes and 53 seconds there. Purely simply because we got to a point where it was an ineffective flame, so that was no use to us, and we're done with that. So next we will try the fluffed beeswax. Right, so next is fluffed beeswax. Well, straight away we know it's not as vigorous flame with the beeswax, but then there's no added paraffin in it. Candle wax mass-produced paraffin wax has paraffin in it, which is going to give it a more vigorous flame and probably a longer burn. This beeswax, yeah, not quite so easy to ignite. Not as big flame, but a cleaner flame. You may notice there's less smoke off of it, so you get a cleaner burn off of the beeswax. Let's see how long that will burn for. 7:37. There you go. As firelighters, not the greatest. Okay, as fire or as an ignition source, very, very good. Once you've got it lit, and it's that getting it lit is going to be the effort, the problem, the skill set. Now you could probably add other things to the rope. You could probably dip the rope in paraffin. You could probably use some other form of accelerant. Personally, I think the way to go is a little tub of petroleum jelly, your bit of rope, cut off the bit of rope you want to use, dip the end in the petroleum jelly like that. That would be quick and efficient, easy to carry. And again, rope, easy to carry, something it's light, you can throw it in a pocket, you can throw it in a pouch. But these natural fibre ropes don't like moisture. They're hygroscopic, they will soak up the moisture like you wouldn't believe. And then of course once that's happened, it's useless. And that's where I was interested in seeing how the wax would work with it. Wax and natural fibre, yeah, they go together well. It's just getting it ignited might be a bit of a difficulty. If you're using a cigarette lighter, not a problem. If you're down to using your ferro rod, then it could be an issue. Right, those that I have left, I am going to pack away in there. The next trip up the woods, we'll have a bit of a play with those. I should leave those burning there. So guys, there you go. You sit and think about it all night long. Oh, it racks your brains. And what do you come up with? Well, you realise that what you had put as the end of your video you weren't happy with, so you end up redoing it like this. So, here's my final thoughts on natural fibre rope. It's brilliant. It's fantastic. But it's down to how you use it. Okay, so fluffed up like that, brilliant. Take an ember from bow drill, from hand drill, or flint and steel, and an ember will ignite that and it will burn hot and fast. Apply a bit of wax to it, or make a wax block like that. You've now got an extender that will burn for up to 5 minutes. Okay, but it's a swine to light. That's the combination to make. You can also do it that way by having the fluffy dry material there and the wax on there. Again, that will make you a 5-minute fire extender. The beast, the one that will really work well, is a bit of rope, fluff it up on the end, mix it with some petroleum jelly, or mix the main strand up with petroleum jelly. That burns super hot. Brilliant, brilliant fire starter. So yeah, natural fibre rope is the way to go. It's again, I'm only trying this not because I've gone out and bought it, but because somebody was throwing some away, and I thought, I'll give it a go. Let's play with it. I already use it on other resources, so let's have a bit of an experiment with it. And that's the thing to do. As you come across resources, you might come across something somebody's throwing out, or you find a bit of punk wood up the woods or that, and you think, oh, I've never charred punk wood. Give it a go. You never know. It's experimentation. And you learn and learn and learn. So, again, natural fibre rope. Brilliant resource. Got to know how to use it. Be careful. Practice with it. And make the most of it. So there we go. Natural fibre rope. And what do we do on burn times? Right, just to let you know. Paraffin wax, that burnt for 7 minutes, and beeswax burnt for 7 minutes 53. So bear in mind it wasn't exact science as in weights and measures and that. Yeah, out of one of those firelighters, I would say you're going to get about 7 minutes. That's enough time to make a fire in almost any conditions. Anyhow, that's enough of that. Hope you enjoyed the video. Hope you enjoyed me playing with the editing suite and trying some new ideas. Wasn't too much for you. This is Mickey, Hampshire Outdoors and Survival. Join us on a Sunday night on our Sunday social live stream. Come along, have your say, see what you think. Speak to a lot of guides from all over the world that are like-minded with yourselves. Other than that, love those you do, forgive those you don't. May peace and light be upon you all. And in this wonderfully glorious world of ours, this is Mickey. Till next time, Mickey out.